Hello to You Are Enough group, how are you going? It's Steve Barker here from Wagga, and I've come on today just to discuss with you about stress. Now, I've been running a stress management course, and from that I've been able to learn about what stress is, why we have stress, how we react to stress, and then I go on to deliver how we deal with stress. Now, if there's anybody watching, please, if you could just let me know that you can see and hear me okay. It's just I'm using a new lead today because I've got my new whiteboard, which I went and bought so that I could do this presentation. So if you can let me know that you can hear me, that would be awesome. Otherwise, I'm going to go through this for the next 20 minutes or so. Thanks, I got a thumbs up. So I'm guessing that I can be heard, which is awesome. So yes, I was talking about stress. So the whole point of this video is because I've been seeing people coming through the group. I've been seeing people talking about their stresses and how they just can't cope with them. Now, what I've found when I've been delivering the stress management course has been that people have really gained a lot about understanding why we suffer from stress, what actually causes stress, and how we deal with it. And this is the peak flow chart of stress, which I'm going to run through with you very shortly. Hi Rick, how you going? Nice to meet you again this morning. That was a great meeting. I'll catch up with you about that later on. But yeah, so if we can understand, if we can raise our awareness around stress and what causes it, how we react to it, and when we're reacting to it is the key. So the first thing that I want to discuss really is this diagram up here. Now, as you can see, you can't see it very well, I can see the screen that you're looking at, but this is a picture of the brain, okay? And when we were in the womb and we were developing as embryonic stage, we start off here in the middle. And this is the brain stem. Now, the brain stem itself is responsible for all of the actions that we have when we are just living, when we're being, when we're in existence. So it controls our breathing, it controls our digestion, it controls our movement. You know, when you have an itch, you don't think, oh, I've got an itch there, I need to move this hand across, I need to scratch it, I need to move my hand up and down, now the itch is gone, okay? You just go, I've got an itch, I'm scratching it, okay? And that's what's happening in the brain stem. This is where it's responsible for, like I say, breathing, digestion, pumping up the muscles, getting the fight, flight or freeze syndrome going, and our general survival, our day-to-day operation. As the brain develops, it's like an onion. It's like an onion skin. Okay? So we've got the midbrain, which then develops is the next point. The limbic part of the brain, and the final part of the brain, which is the one that we're really interested in, is called the cortex. Now in the cortex, that's the frontal part of the brain, and that's where we start to use for our thinking, our learning, our strategizing, our forward planning, our reactions, and all of those things come from the cortex part of the brain. Now the cortex part is the very last part of the brain to actually develop. And if you've got teenage kids, then this is really, really relevant, because the cortex doesn't really develop fully in a teenager until they're about 13, 14, and then after that it starts to develop even more. Hey Steph, how you going? Thanks for joining me. So if you can understand that teenagers' cortex brains, which is the part that they're thinking with, which is their reactions, which is their forward planning, which is their sense of danger, okay, isn't fully developed, and you can understand why teenagers do what teenagers do. But also, more importantly, this is the part of the brain that gets switched off when we get into stressful situations. Now let me move on to the next part. I'm just going to step to one side, so I hope you can see what I'm doing, and more importantly, listen to what I'm talking about. So down here, in this box here, this is our day-to-day level of operation. This is the area at where we cruise along quite happily, doing our own thing. Now I'm going to use road rage as an example for this stress plan, okay? So here we are, we're driving along quite happily, and then all of a sudden Captain Chaos comes out around here and he pulls out in front of us. Okay? He pulls out straight in front of us and we're like, ah, what are you doing? We go straight up here. We start to escalate straight away. Okay? When we're escalating, what is actually happening is the cortex brain, the part of the brain that's responsible for our thinking and our reactions, gets switched off. Cortisol is released, it's a hormone, and we revert back to our brain stem. Okay, so when we're at the peak of stress, we are operating from the smallest part of our brain. We're operating from the brain stem. Now, as I said, the brain stem is responsible for our fight, flight, or freeze thing. This is where it was developed initially. This is our sense of danger. It tells us that we're in trouble. Something's going to happen. You can imagine when Captain Chaos here drove out in front of us, we thought we were in danger. And that's why we went straight up to the top. That's why we disengaged our cortex. We started engaging our brainstem because we thought we were in danger. We thought something was going to happen to us. Now, as I said, this is the area where we do our lateral thinking. This is the area up here where we respond, where we react, where we think, where we plan, where we strategize. Now, you can imagine, if we're not doing that and we're in our brainstem, this is our fight, flight or freeze moment. This is where, when we were cavemen, when we were chasing saber-toothed tigers for shits and giggles, we needed to have this engaged quite a lot. This is what releases cortisol. This is what gets us revved up. This is what gets the adrenaline going. This is what gets us breathing fast, getting ready to pump, ready to fight, ready to run away, ready to freeze and hide, because we don't know what's going to happen. So if you can relate to us being at the peak of our stress and us operating from this area of the brain, you can then understand why we do what we do. So let's go back to the road rage incident. So Captain Chaos here, he's just pulled out in front of us. All hell's breaking loose. We're thinking of an accident. We don't have an accident, thankfully, okay? But we want to let him know that we're there. This is where the road rage kicks in, all right? We're up here, we're at the peak. So the road rage kicks in. What do you want to do? You want to flash your lights at him, don't you? You want to tell him that you're there. You're like, oi, don't you see me? Am I invisible? So you go to flash, but you hit the wrong thing, and suddenly your windscreen wipers are going, and you're washing your windscreen rather aggressively at the bloke in front of you. Or you go to hit the horn, and you're like, oh, where's the horn? Where's the horn? I can't find the horn. Okay? All of these things, you know exactly where they are, but because you're operating here at brainstem level rather than at the cortex level, because you're at the peak of your stress, you can't find them. And that is why we react the way that we do when we get into a stressful situation. That's why we do strange things. That's why we say stuff that's out of character. Now, you have all been in this situation. Each and every single person that's watching this will have all been in that situation where you're totally stressed and you do something that's completely out of character, completely out of nature for you, and other people will comment on it later. They'll go, that wasn't you. I don't know what was going on there. I don't understand why you did that. It's because you're up here at the peak and you're not thinking with your normal brain. You are inside your brain stem. Okay, you've gone back to what I call primeval thinking. Now, at any point, you can de-escalate. You can come back down. It doesn't matter which side of the equation. You don't have to reach your peak to de-escalate. You only have to get to this point and you suddenly realise, actually, I'm starting to escalate. Things are starting to get a little bit out of control. I need to de-escalate. And during the stress management course, I then go on to teach many different styles of de-escalation. How you can take control of the situation and stuff like that. But the main thing, as I say, that people take away from the course is this. Now, I normally charge money for this. Okay? This is normally a key part of my course. But because I find it really important, I find that so many people are getting use out of it, I thought I'm going to share this in the group. So I actually went out today and bought my whiteboard. Do you like this? Yeah, it's very professional. And I had to go and get an extension lead for my cable. So, you know, this is costing me money to give to you. And normally people will pay me to learn this. So I'm sharing this with you because I think it's really important. If you can understand how stress is what's actually happening when you're getting stressed, when you get into that stressful situation, then because you've got that awareness and you know that you're disengaging your cortex and you're going back to your primeval brain or your brain stem, if you're aware of all of that, you will be able to de-escalate much quicker. You'll be able to re-engage your cortex. You will be able to come back to the real world much quicker, and you'll be able to make much more effective and true decisions for you. So that today is what I wanted to talk to you about. Because if you can understand that, then hopefully when you start to feel stressed, you're aware of it and you can start to do something about it. Now you can go online, you can Google and find out many different ways of how to manage your stress. There's heaps, there's thousands of them. Okay? But I just wanted to share this with you because I think it is valuable. And if you can understand it, then it's going to be able to engage your cortex much quicker, and you'll be able to come down to a relatively normal level and get back to what you were doing. And if you can apply this at work, if you can apply this at home, if you can apply this within your relationships, then you're going to have a much more balanced and level life, rather than being stressed, de-stressed, stressed, de-stressed. After stress, you go into post-incident recovery, which, as you can see, is below where we normally are running from. Okay? So if you're constantly going between here and here, here and here, here and here, okay, you're going to start to live in this environment down here, rather than at your day-to-day, normal operation level there. So, that's it, guys. I just wanted to share that with you. I hope it's been valuable. Thank you very much to all of you, the new members who've joined. We've now got over 2,000 new members on the You Are Enough group, which is absolutely fantastic. You'll see there's all sorts of different professions that are now joining the group. There's all sorts of people who are sharing information, and that's the idea of the group, is that we share the information that makes us tick, that makes us happy, that keeps our lives moving along. And if we can share that information amongst each other, then we don't have to go through the hard times. We can avoid some of the pitfalls. So that's the idea of the group. That's why I created it. We've got over 2,000 members now in just over 2 months, which is absolutely fantastic. So if you are part of the group, thank you very much for being part of the group. If you're active within the group, even better. That is great. But if you're just here to observe and to take ideas, that's fine as well. Share this amongst your friends, okay? Share the information with each other. Let's just be one. That's why I'm here. Thanks very much, Rick. I'm glad you enjoyed the class. Thanks, Angela. Thank you very much for joining me. Do I run these courses in-house for businesses? Yes, Rick, sometimes I do. If a business comes to me and they ask me if I can provide it for them, then I will go to their workplace and I will do it. Otherwise, it's just open for the community here in Wagga. I'm actually thinking about running one online. So, you know, if people are interested, if people want to tell me that they're interested, then yes, I'll go for it. But, you know, these courses, I run them for teens as well. I call it Insight for Teens. So it's set at a different level for teenagers, but the principles are the same. So there we go. I'm waffling on now. I'm going to disappear because this isn't about my business. This is about me sharing. All right, guys. So take this away. Take this away. This is your stress graph. This is how your brain develops. This is the cortex. This is where we do all our thinking. Okay, if you take that away and you can think about when you're dealing with your teenagers or you're in a stressful situation yourself, then you're going to be able to react much better. Okay, guys, I hope you've enjoyed it. Feel free to share this information. Share the page, share the group, share the video. All right, I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.